Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Interlocking Loops Flosstube. I'm your host Angela, and it is Memorial Day, and hope everyone's had a good Memorial Day weekend. And it's still Stitchmania, so the house right now is probably 79 degrees. It is sweltering in here. We've had 85 degrees earlier today. We've had thunderstorms intermittently for the last few days, and it's so humid. I've tried to do quite a bit of stitching, but anyway, it's currently thunderstorming outside right now, so with any luck this won't get interrupted with power outage or whatnot. So let's talk a little bit about, I'm your host Angela. You can find me on Instagram as Interlocking Loops, and let's go on with the show. Alright, if you remember, I had certain projects that I was wanting to do for Stitchmania this year. Part of them were new starts and part of them were ones I started last year. And this one is from the Square Dance series by Heart and Hand. And here are 3 of the patterns, and I actually worked on this bottom one without the birds for the month of March. So I'd finished prior the January and February, and it is finished. We're not ironed, mind you, but it's finished. So hopefully, I'm still struggling with the lighting. Having this really dark wall behind me, and that it's on 16 count, coffee tea dyed by me, Ada. And I've enjoyed this series quite a bit. I think I still have a few more to go. I don't know when I'll start the next one, but I am making pretty good progress on all my things. So that's my first finish. My second one is one I altered a little from the pattern. And this one is Little House Needleworks Red House in Winter. And while I like this bottom section, I didn't want to stitch it. I just really wanted the focus to be that red house. So that's exactly what I did. So it has a little bit of snow that you can't really see with this light. I don't know if you hold it back, you still can't see it. But there's a little bit of snow on the trees, a little bit of snowflakes in the air, a little down here at the bottom. But check out that red house. Ooh-wee. I just love that. So some of the colors I didn't always use exactly as they called for, but I think Bing Cherry was used, Bandana I think was used. Anyway, it came out really well. On, I now don't recall if it's 16 count Ada, I think. So that's a second finish. I have been busy since we talked last. I didn't get a chance to do Flosstube last weekend like I'd hoped. Things just didn't work out that way. But let's talk about the third one. Yes, my third finish. Alright, so this is by Plum Street Sampler, the Spring Salt Boxes. If you remember, this particular pattern has 2 in it. And I did this one with kind of the real pretty flowers. And I, surprisingly enough, actually did that like the pattern. Actually called for. Finished, not pressed. Aren't those flowers pretty? I don't know if that'll focus well, but I really love the colors in this. So I encourage you, if you like that at all, to pick those series of patterns up. That won't be the last one I do, of course, but that's the last one regarding Stitchmania for that series. Okay, some other ones I've worked on but not finished is another Little House Needleworks Fresh Watermelon. I think I showed this last time too. Very summery. Certainly does feel summer with the holiday now that it's nice and warm. So I finished the watermelon slice, the words at the top, and part of the stand says watermelon on it. So that's a little more color accurate right there. I don't know, it's so hard to get good lighting. This overhead light's not great. My other one is so bright I get washed out. It may be that me doing these videos in the room that I'm doing them in, since it's a different room than what I used to, because everybody's here due to COVID. Once everybody starts branching off doing their own thing, I'll probably try to go back a little more to where I was. I believe that was 16 count Ada as well, so I enjoyed that tremendously. The last one that I put a lot of work into this holiday weekend, the only stitching project that I've actually worked on this whole 3-day weekend, has been the Brenda Gervais April wordplay. Can you see that cute little bunny? Isn't he adorable? So I really like making these, and I think the words make things go pretty fast. And this, I believe, I want to say, I think this is on 18 count Ada. Ivory, I believe. Let's see. And I've changed up some of the colors, and I've changed them up enough I haven't been able to keep track. A lot of it's just here and there, little bits that I happen to have wherever I was at. We actually went, kind of took a trip yesterday. This is going to sound crazy, but we haven't really gone anywhere other than work at the grocery store, and occasionally a trip to Hobby Lobby when they finally opened up. In so long, I was needing to go out and do something, so we packed up. We got curbside to go from Olive Garden and drove about an hour and a half away and spent a couple hours in a Target store. I love Target. We used to have one in the town I live in, but that closed a few years ago, and we needed a lot of the basics. And the four of us had our masks on, and we tooled all around, and they did a good job of sanitizing the carts, and that's really how we spent part of our weekend. So that was actually very nice. But what the project I took up was this one by Brenda Gervais. So I'll show it again. So let's see. This word here, rain, that's on the edge. We were driving up, and that's a very light blue. It's hard to tell, but it's a very light blue, and it was raining on our way up there yesterday. And I pulled out. Blue is not called for, I don't believe, in this. But I happen to have that in this bag of different things, and I went ahead and stitched that. The color doesn't quite go with everything else. The word April goes down here at the bottom. I'm not sure what color I'll be doing that in. But there's also some pretty stitch patterns here and little bits that I think I may end up doing with the light blue as well to kind of add more of that in there. I love a good yellow. So there's these Easter eggs in yellow. I love that color. I love sunflowers. So I'd hoped I'd been working crazy. I put this Flosstube video off. Instead of doing it on Saturday or Sunday, I'm doing it tonight because I was hoping to get it completely finished. I could see about 4 o'clock that wasn't going to take place today. So I'm going to put it down. Hopefully by the next time we talk I will have got it finished. But I'm enjoying that quite a bit, and I've been stitching this one in hand, and you could probably tell from the fold marks as I've been going. I started here in this section. Usually I start in the middle, but I didn't this time. I've just kind of went and I've kind of folded to keep fingerprints off of the stitching and kind of held it. So that's worked out well for me. And I store it in a project bag, so that's finished. Well, as much as it's going to be probably until we talk again. There was one other one I was wanting to work on. It's a winter, I can't even think. But I haven't really done anything with that. So I'm going to probably work on finishing up this one by Brenda Gervais and maybe doing a little bit more on the watermelon one, and then we'll be out of Stitchmania. I'll have to think of what to do for June. So speaking of what to do in June, those of you that have been with me a long time know that I planned on making small projects, cute bowl fillers, things that are adorable in an arrangement, in a basket. And I'm still thinking that's a good way to go. I want to give you a little laugh. Okay, so I enjoyed the heart hand. I'll get back to where I was going here in just a second. That I had the next edition in the square dance set of patterns for Christmas. With that in mind, I did buy 12 grain from Classic Colorworks, and now, of course, I can't remember which pattern it went with. It'll come to me, I'll have it. But where I was going before with how things seem to be changing, well, it seems as if I've watched enough of you gals that do samplers that now I'm kind of interested in them too. And so I did place an order. I placed a few orders. One was from 123 Stitch, and I bought a few things. One of which is Caroline Behringer Summer House Stitchworks sampler. I like the bold colors used. So this also tells me I'm going to be working a little more with linen coming up. I have purchased some, I just haven't really done much with it. But it sounds like I may see if I can get some even weave and start a few projects with that. We'll see. One of them might just be Basket of Cherries by Blackbird Designs. I've seen this stitched, I've seen other people buy it, and I just love it. I don't know if I can show that where there's not a huge glare. But I just love that. Now I don't have the threads for any of them, but there's time for that, right? Alright, I placed another order, and this one was from Kitten Stitcher. And there's another sampler or two. Staging Nest Primitives, Hannah. Oh my goodness, put the glasses on. Hannah Jenkinson sampler dated 1778. Look at that. More alphabets, some pretty colors. Goodness sakes, what am I crazy? All right, G. Ledger, 1898. I knew I wanted to give this a try, and I looked it up a few weeks ago, and I don't have any of the flosses for any of these new ones, but check that out. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, I told you I got bit by the bug. Oh, goodness sakes. So I don't know when these things will get started. Kitten Stitcher author threw in a freebie chart. Believe 2020 a basket of strawberries. And another purchase I made from Kitten Stitcher is Ooh La La by Blackbird Designs, because Heidi Cran is also an enabler. She's one of the ones I've been watching, and some of these red work patterns. She had a bowl of smalls. One of them was one of the patterns in here, and I just loved it. If I can figure out a way to kind of show the pattern. Pick your favorite red and go to town on that. So that's kind of combining two things into one. So, all right. Other acquisitions. We must move along. I could fill up my cart with several more, but I don't feel like I can start several of these samplers at one time. There's just so much to it. So I am in the button collection by Just Another Button Company, and if you have not opened yours, look away. I want you to be surprised. Peaches and Cream. Aren't those colors beautiful? Little bitty buttons and the Be Well button pack. I guess I haven't figured out where to sit that the lighting's best. Perfect, right there. I'll show these one more time up close in that good light. There you go. That's it. So apparently I'm collecting lots of things right now. So I have been working on a sock. I don't know how much of this I even had started the last time we talked. But this one's on DPNs. I'm working my way down the foot. top down. I put in some yarn where I'm going to end up taking that out and putting in a heel, and then this works down the foot. I'll be putting in the heel next, and then finishing the toe, and then I can start the next socks. And these are by, the yarn is by, you'd think I could remember this, Kirby Werby, www.kirbywerbyyarns.etsy.com. I don't know that she has another site, and this colorway is Can't Stop the Feeling. When I looked at her site, getting ready for the Flosstube video, she didn't have anything in there, but it sounds like the COVID crazy with everything has probably hit her household too, and she may be having difficulty getting supplies. So one thing that's exciting, my daughter's hasn't been one to spend a lot of energy on being crafty, and I think it's good for your brain. I think it develops a different part of your brain. I started buying her planners a few years ago, and I bought her some stamps and things to decorate it with. Okay, well, she's had a few friends of hers that have done some knitting, and she's mentioned to me that maybe there's something she might want to do. Well, I started for the most part on a lot of dishcloths, and so that's where we started her. And I bought a bunch of kitchen cotton from Hobby Lobby, several different colors, bright colors, and she has knit. She knows how to do long tail cast on, she knows how to knit, purl. We've done a basket weave pattern, we've done alternating knit and purl rows. Let's see. And the most recent one is a heart-shaped pattern that I bought off of Ravelry years ago, because I've made several of them, and she's been working on that, doing knit two togethers and slip knits. So she's getting pretty good at binding off, so it's kind of exciting. She's planning some stuff this summer, going to be gone, and I told her that these will look cute next to her sink for washing things, and she's already chucked out, maybe finished 4 of them already. So I may have to move her on to hats or a cowl here coming up pretty soon. She may be done with all she needs to do as far as knitting dishcloths pretty soon. I've been having trouble with my phone, and I hope this video turns out okay after all, because it did something wacky last night, like it was starting over, and it did that all night long this morning. My husband took it to Verizon. They tried messing with it. They didn't get anywhere. He finally called Verizon, their helpline, and there was a gal that was able to restart it. So it still isn't responding to like your fingerprint like it's supposed to, like it used to. So with any luck, we can get that straightened out. Other crazy things, let's see. I haven't got my zinnias planted. It's been raining every other day, and I hate to spend much time in the garden with it being so wet, trampling on the soil. But I have been making cheese. I know I've talked about a little bit about farm life before, and in spite of the fact we have all of us here and we're drinking milk, I now have another one. I weaned the last baby, and so I have more milk than I had before. So I have yogurt incubating, doing its thing. So hopefully we'll have some vanilla yogurt we can eat as of tomorrow sometime. And then chev cheese and feta. The feta is in salt now. It's pulling out the excess moisture, and the chev is hanging, currently letting more of the whey drain out, and that's kind of exciting. We did make homemade ice cream today, and we were going to do, I saw something on Facebook about a blooming apple. You know, you've heard of the blooming onions, and we wanted to do that, but it's so hot in the house I couldn't possibly turn the oven on. So I told the kids, don't get into that ice cream, but we'll do that in another couple days. It should cool down. So that's been keeping us busy. Saturday night, I'm in part of the Frog and Toad survey group of people that goes out and listens for frequency and that kind of thing. And I think I may have mentioned that on a Flosstube last year. It's 3 times a year, from spring through summer, and that was our second one. We did that Saturday night. There was a lot more people out this last time than there was when we did this a few weeks ago. So I can tell our state has opened up further and more people are getting out. A lot of them with masks on. Not everybody, however, but we're masking up. I haven't made any more since we talked. But everybody here's got at least 2 that they can take around with them, and that's doing well. We've been working on this. The room I'm in now is actually my son's bedroom when he was little. He hasn't stayed in it in years. We've moved his bed out of here. We've started kind of making things kind of a craft room. It's in progress. He and I spent more time cleaning out more of it, and we have more to go. We probably have a third of the room yet to go. He said it doesn't bother him that we're packing up his stuff, but I can tell you that I know he's 22. He'll be 23 in September. But in packing up his stuff and storing it in a different part of the house and changing him out of his bedroom, definitely makes him seem like he's not 12 anymore. So it's been tougher on me, I think, than it has him. And I've been putting off trying to do that because of me, not because of him. So the kids are still a little bit up in the air on exactly what they're going to do this summer. My daughter's supposed to be maybe going to Vermont doing some field research. They need to have her fingerprinted. The place close to us is still a couple hours drive, and they currently say they're only doing that by appointment, and currently they don't have any appointments. So we're not sure if that's going to happen or not. And then my son's camp, he was going to be a camp counselor type. He's done that a few years and absolutely loves it. He loves working with kids. That's closed. They are doing some day camps, but aren't sure whether he's needed to do that or not, and he's just kind of waiting to hear. I think that's in Wisconsin, and they have not opened up until very, very recently, so I don't think the camp knows how many kids to expect, because they don't know how many parents may want to send their kids, so in the wake of all this crazy stuff. But well, that's it for this episode, and I hope this holiday weekend finds you doing well, and maybe I'll be able to get back in touch with you at the earliest next weekend. Hopefully I'll have one other thing finished, and then we can talk more about samplers. Until then, happy stitching. Bye-bye.